welcome back. It's still Monday, May 18th, 2020. We have done sounds that are made with different combinations of letters. We've been working with a lot of vowel teams, and we have done oi, O-I-O-Y. We've done ow with O-W-O-U. Look at all the different combinations that we can use to spell the sound of oo. There are 7. This is difficult, and I understand that. And one of the things that I say to students every year is the more you read and find all these words in context, the easier it becomes for you to remember which way that these words are spelled. I need you to get out your Reader Writers Workshop and open it up to page 220. So if you look, it's this page here. It says phonics, fluency, and you see the letters here. O-O, U, U, consonant E, E-W, U-E, U-I, and O-U. All those combinations of letters spell the same sound of oo. We've talked about the English language being very difficult to learn. And a lot of the words, it has to do with where these words came from, which language. We don't need to think about that right now. But it says here, follow along in your Reader Writers Workshop on page 220. The letters O-O, U, U consonant E, E-W, U-E, U-I, and O-U can make the sound you hear in the middle of cool, say cool, truth, say truth, flute, news, clues, suit, and soup. And you can see every one of those. If you close your eyes, you're going to hear the same sound of ooh in those words. Look at the words down below. Repeat after me. Moon, flew, you, rude, and you can see just from those 4, we have the O-O spelling, the E-W spelling, the O-U spelling, and the U consonant E spelling. Then we have June, true, room, group. We have the U consonant E, the UE, the OO, and the OU. And then we have student, fruit, July, and chewing. We have the U, UI, U, and EW. It's crazy. It's crazy, but you can see all the different combinations. Look at the sentences we have up here. Lucy and a group of friends sat by the pool. In that sentence, we have U by itself, OU, and OO. Then we have Lucy, Sue, and Drew ate fruit. We have the U by itself, UE, EW, and UI, all in the same sentence. Wow. Your turn. Look for these words with OO, U, U consonant E, EW, UE, UI, and OU in Super Tools. Wow, these are the words that we're going to look for, okay? So let's just take a minute and let's look at the first word, super. Well, guess what? Super just has the U by itself. And the next word is cool. OO. Rude. U consonant E. Blue. UE. That's the color blue. Tools. We're back over here. Lucy, soon, you, O-U, all the way over here. Few, E-W. Used. U, consonant E. Juice, U-I. Sorry for getting right in front of you. Room. New. Useless. Drew. Now this drew is the past tense of draw. Like I drew a picture. If it has a capital, then it could be someone's name. And useful. So you can see just the words that you're going to read in the story follow all 7 of the patterns. So turn to the next page, page 222. The genre is fantasy. And we know that fantasy means it is something that can never happen. There's usually something outrageous in fantasy, but it did not happen. Our essential question: how can we work together to make our lives better? Read about how a girl's forgotten writing tools work together to become useful again. This is called super tools. Turn to page 224. This little girl has a nice little setup, doesn't she? Do you have one like that for your work? A few weeks ago, Lucy's mom and dad brought a new computer home. "This is so cool!" exclaimed Lucy. Lucy used the computer all the time, but not everyone was happy about the new computer. I wonder why they don't have the word computer here. It should be there. It has that long U sound by itself. I'm going to add it. But we did have Lucy, cool. Lucy didn't know it, but her writing tools felt sad and useless. One day, while she was at school, they had an emergency meeting. "Lucy hasn't used us in weeks," cried the markers. "Can we demand to be used?" asked the crayons. "No, that would be rude. But we can remind her how great we are," said the pencils. "Yes," they all agreed. "Let's remind her." Do you see why this story is a fantasy? After school, as soon as Lucy came through the door, she grabbed a glass of juice and went right to her computer. She had to write a report about birds. The writing tools watched and waited. When Lucy was done, she printed her report. That night, the writing tools got busy. They worked together to make a picture for Lucy. The pencils made a sketch. The markers drew the birds in the tree. The crayons drew the sun in a blue sky. The picture was good enough to frame. More elements of fantasy. The next day was Saturday. Lucy woke up late. Then she went to get her report. Lucy gasped. She couldn't believe her eyes. "Who drew this great picture?" she asked. "Did you draw this?" Lucy asked Mom and Dad. "You know the answer to that," they laughed. "Stop joking. You drew that great picture." That made Lucy think. She wished she had drawn it. "It is fun to draw," she said. Lucy hung the picture in her room. Then she took out her pencils, crayons, and markers. "I'll draw my own picture for my report," she said. Lucy and her pencils, crayons, and markers worked together. They drew a super picture. From that day on, Lucy kept drawing, and the writing tools felt happy and useful. What a great ending to that story. You have two activities to do. The first activity is this roll, read, and color. And the directions are right on it. It says, roll the dice, find a word under that number, read the word, close your eyes, and spell the word, then color in that word. Do the best you can. But once you read it, once you try to spell it, go ahead and color it. Okay? Try to get 4 in a row. Every time you get 4 in a row, write a tally mark in the box at the top. You can play with someone else or you can play it by yourself. Doesn't matter. But it's just getting you to practice reading all the different combinations of letters that make the oo sound. You also have in your journal, you're going to answer this make connections on page 231. How did Lucy's writing tools work together to become useful again? What did they do? So if you think about, there was a problem, there were steps to the solution, and then there was a solution. Think about that as you write it and make sure that in your journal, you use all your writing skills that you know. Make sure you begin with a capital, you end with punctuation, you have spacing, you make sure you spell things correctly. If you don't know the words, sound it out, write the phonemes that you hear, but make sure that you use the question in your answer. You need to write a complete answer. So you have two things to do. This goes along with the reading, and then this is your writing activity for today. I'll see you later for math.